It's time to sew some buttons on. Reach into your accessory box and pull out the foot that has the blue toes on it. We're going to attach the foot to the little bar, blue toes up front, and those are going to help assist grip onto the button that we are sewing on. So just go ahead and slide that. Now another thing I like to do, number one, you want your stitch length to 0. We don't want these teeth kind of pulling through because we're just going to set the machine for a zigzag and nothing else. So we're already on a zigzag stitch. The width is going to be about 3.5, which is pretty standard for most buttonhole widths of those eyes. So we will line that up to go through it. But let me show you one more thing that I like to do when I sew on buttons. I'm going to slide off the accessory box because on the back here is to lower the feed dogs. There's a lever on the back side that when you push it, the feed dogs drop. Now here's a note when we're done with sewing buttons on. When we reach back here again, is that when we slide that lever back to where it was, you hear a click, but you don't see them come up. You will need to physically just start sewing, or if you want to manually turn the hand wheel, you will see the feed dogs come back up. So that's how we lower the feed dogs down and also retrieve them when we are done. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's say we've got our fabric and, oh, feed dogs came back up. That's right. So let's just lower those back down. Excellent. And slide that underneath. So our button that we're going to stitch on, we're going to slide underneath the presser foot. Now, if you need a little extra help or lift, you can take the lever that's behind the machine and lift it a little bit higher to help you position your fabric where you need it to be. I kind of caught my thread in my accessory box. There we go. There. Now we can slide that in. Now right now, the needle is hovering over one side. It's either going to be kind of leaning to the left or it's leaning to the right. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and hand turn the needle down into the hole that it's leaning towards. So mine was on the left side. And then I'm going to go ahead and hand turn all the way over. Now my width on this one did not go far enough. So I am going to adjust the width. Now if I adjust it one side, I am going to make sure that the swing comes back into the other hole. And then I can just step on my foot control and go ahead and add a handful of stitches, maybe 8 or 9 stitches back and forth. And if you want to lock it off, you could set the machine for a straight stitch with your needle position kind of off to the side a little bit and let it go up and down 3 or 4 times. That would be one way to get a nice little lock. And then you can cut it nice and even on those threads and guarantee that it won't come undone. So if you had a button with 4 holes, just do 2 in the front, move it back, do 2 in the back. If it's a really small button, you might need to turn it around just enough so the grippers of the foot stay close enough to the button to hold it in place. And just remember, feed dogs, don't forget to raise them back up. Otherwise, when you go to sew at a later time, you're like, why doesn't it sew? And if you ever have that, where the needle's just going up and down and the fabric's not feeding, check the feed dogs and see if they are below the throat plate. And if they are, reach back behind your machine and re-engage the feed dogs.